There are so many problems in the world, and I'm aware that some of my fellow citizens have been seeking distraction from the horrors of, for example, the global migration crisis or the nail-biting penalties of the World Cup by watching this. The nation is gripped by a bunch of totally vacuous young men and women cracking on in a Mallorcan villa. I admit, I too am finding it strangely addictive. And I find myself thinking otherwise inexplicable thoughts, like how nice it would be to strut around in a thong bikini with all my bits looking perfectly honed. But my bits are not all perfectly honed. Neither, I suspect, are yours. In fact, it's been revealed that many of the Love Island women and men have probably spent thousands on surgical enhancements to achieve their flawless looks. It's completely unrealistic, but that doesn't stop others measuring themselves by it. This week, the head of the NHS said that a Love Island-linked obsession with the perfect body is contributing to a mental health crisis for young people. There's nothing wrong with a bit of fantasising, but when it starts causing real harm by promoting unrealistic, biased, thin, surgically enhanced, Eurocentric beauty standards that add to an already unreasonable amount of social pressure, then you have to ask whether it's time it got dumped.
What do you want to get dumped?
Personally, the whole concept of us being fed these images of perfect-looking people as if it's some kind of ideal.
But that's huge, though, isn't it? Because this happens across magazines. Obviously, all my bits are perfectly honed.
Of course they are,
obviously.
Michelle. No, but do you know what? It's interesting you raise magazines, because I feel like in other areas we've made so much progress. And actually, watching Love Island kind of reminds me of the 90s when I used to read magazines and feel really crap about myself because everybody was airbrushed within an inch of their lives and everyone looked perfect. And we've made so much progress since then. Now, when you look at magazines, you do see people who look more like you.
But I do feel like if you go to the bars and pubs and stuff, and I look at younger girls, I do think they all look very, very similar. And, you know, they all look a certain way and there's a certain look. And I think it is a shame because everyone's got different bodies. And I certainly have friends that would look at my figure, for example, and they've been on diet after diet after diet, but their physique is just not the same as mine. And they just wouldn't achieve that without being quite unhealthy.
Well done, you.
And no, but what I'm saying is my metabolism is a certain way and other people's might be a different certain way and someone else's might be a different certain way. And I think that's what we've lost. So, for example, when I do Instagram, I'm very careful to make sure I do it without makeup on. I'm very careful to make sure that I tell the truth about what I look like and don't like. And that's what we're missing at the moment. People are presenting a false reality.
Well, Love Island for me is a kind of like orgy of that.
Please, miss.
Hello.
What else would you tell us not to do?
This isn't about me telling us what to do.
Right.
I'm questioning the whole culture.
Why do you watch this show?
No,
Why?
Full disclosure.
Yeah, you do watch it.
I had never watched it before I decided I wanted to do my pitch.
Look, I've never seen an episode of this show.
So I watched it for this.
No, but here's the
serious point. It is strangely addictive.
Here's my serious point. Can I have a serious point, right? Look, we've got an obesity crisis in this country, and we've got the government telling us to ban junk food adverts, and we've got the government telling us where to place sugary sweets in supermarkets. We've got the government telling us that there's a serious crisis with children under 11, where I think it's a majority of them are overweight or obese, and actually up to, I think, around 50% of our population are either obese or overweight. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum, people telling us to ban Beachbody Ready adverts on the underground, and that they're being made to feel insecure because this woman is looking too beautiful.
And then you've got ITV telling us to aspire to all these surgeries.
It's not telling you to do anything.
People.
No.
Well, they are bombarding people.
It's actually much more serious than this, guys. It's much more serious.
Just the last thing I'm going to say. I take it a lot more seriously because it's cosmetic surgery, and so I do agree that it should be regulated a bit more. I don't agree with putting females with breast enlargement in the actual advert. Like, I think a bit like smoking, you shouldn't depict the act of smoking in an advert. But I'm not so sure about banning the adverts because it is already after 9 p.m. Love Island airs from 9 p.m. onwards. So all I want to say is we've got to be a bit careful.
Can I come in with that?
Both ends of this extreme are trying to ban things.
175,000 under 15s watch Love Island. So whether it's before 9 o'clock, it doesn't matter. But let's get some facts here. Okay, so you've made your point. Let me make mine. There's a parliamentary report that says half of the people in this country have body image image problems to the point where 5-year-olds are suffering from this.
Half the people in this country are overweight, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, fine, but they have body image. Even the thin ones have body image problems, Majid. That's not the point.
That's true.
The Medical Health Foundation says that 47% of 18 to 24-year-olds are so stressed by the way they look that they are unable to cope. When you have experts, when you have psychologists and psychiatrists saying that these pressures are they're forcing vulnerable people into terribly difficult positions, you can't just say it's harmless fun, because it's not harmless.
So what do you do? I mean, first of all, the nation isn't gripped by it. Let's not kid ourselves. There's 3.5... The popular press are gripped by it. There's 3.5 million people watching. 3.5 million.
That is a high... That's a lot for TV viewing on a terrestrial...
Listen, I used to schedule television program, and let me tell you, we'd have taken it on most channels. If it was on ITV, you'd take it off at 3.5 million. This is actually on ITV.
Times have changed, Greg.
No, but all I'm saying is 3.5 million doesn't mean it's gripped. It really doesn't. The nation's gripped.
Extremely high for
certain popular newspapers are gripped, along with the people who... Some people...
Do you know more people applied to get onto Love Island than applied to Oxbridge this year? Which is astonishing.
Can I just play you a clip which I think puts some good context in? This is from the head of the NHS, who I cited in my intro.
Yeah.
We have made some progress over the last couple of years, but it's not just the NHS. The fact is, if you look at the increasing pressures on young people around eating disorder services, we have to think about the whole environment in which children are being exposed to. Some of that is social media, but I mean, even if you take a show like Love Island, look at the adverts that are being shown alongside Love Island. You've got explicit ads aiming at young women around breast cosmetic surgery. That is all playing into a set of pressures around body image.
Well, you wanted to say something quickly.
All I'd say is, I remember when I was a teenage girl and I suffered terribly with body dysmorphia. I didn't realise that's what it was then, but I do now. I was bulimic, quite severely bulimic. Then I had an addiction to laxatives, and then bizarrely I had an addiction to colonic irrigation. And it was all centred around what I looked like, feeling clean, feeling empty, feeling thin. And that was in an era before social media, certainly in an era before Love Island. So people have always been conscious, because your body's changing.
At this stage, I do have to resume my role of other people's spokesperson.
You're such a great spokesman.
And read a statement from ITV. So ITV says it takes responsibility to viewers very seriously and ensures adverts broadcast during our programmes adhere to the UK Code of Broadcast Advertising's rules on the content and scheduling of advertising.
And they're hiding behind the fact. They say they take their responsibilities very seriously on mental health, and they're hiding behind the fact that they haven't broken any rules, even though psychologists, psychiatrists, health bosses are saying this is actually very dangerous to stop the ads. It's very easy. Stop taking the big chunks of money from the ads.
But that's what I'm trying to understand.
Cultural question. So a third of our young girls, 7 to 10, feel that they're not pretty
I'm genuinely
enough.
trying to understand.
There are a million young people, including teenage boys, who are using steroids. This is not just one show. This is not just one show.
So would you want to ban both ends of these?
I'm not.
Obesity adverts,
you keep bringing it back
junk
to
food
banning.
adverts.
I'm trying to have a conversation about the cultural pressures that exist on young people.
But what's the solution?
And you keep bringing it back to banning.
What is the solution?
So I'm using Love Island as an example.
She said take the ads down.
I think quite a powerful example.
So she's saying ban them.
I mean, that to me is a no-brainer, right? You shouldn't be advertising cosmetic surgery.
Wait, so do you agree with banning the ads or not?
So many children.
Do we ban the ads or not?
I think the cosmetic surgery ad should not be showed during a show.
Is that a yes then?
Yes, on this context.
So then why are you saying...
But that's not the solution. That's not the answer. That's just a very simple
answer. Your argument is against the whole entertainment industry.
Yes.
Your argument is against... I mean, you know, just look... All right, just go back to football. Look at every time there is a break in the football, whoever that director is finds the best-looking woman he can in the crowd and cuts that every single time. Now, the majority of that audience is male.
But this is different. Every time this is putting out a message that you can't meet someone or have a relationship unless you have a perfect body.
Can we ban fried chicken adverts as well then?
But stop talking about... You're just repeating about banning.
Seriously, Majid.
I am trying to understand what your solution is apart from banning adverts, because you're saying it's more than banning adverts.
Do you know what? I've watched it, OK? It's full of people who are as dumb as rock. The TV... No, it's not, actually.
You haven't watched it.
I know, but I still wouldn't call people dumb like that.
Well, can I say? The TV company exploits these people. It lauds the fact that they're not very
have
bright.
agency.
These people don't know. They don't know anything about what's
They make
happening.
a lot of money out of it, Carol.
have
To be fair, I mean,
So that's good.
I just want to say this. It's not necessarily that the people in the house are dumb. It's a show that is encouraging people to behave a certain way. It's very
I just worry this is a bit infantilising.
No, it's,
like we
it's
call them all
designed-
dumb.
Watch it. It is designed to infantilise, literally,
It is.
and manipulate them into a certain kind of
And
behaviour.
why
Now, I don't think that is really representative of who most young people are, but it feeds this kind of fantasism.
Okay, we
that everyone
we
can
got
relate
to
to,
stop
and that's
this.
why it starts.
We got to stop this now. We could go on forever. This is a good subject.